ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ Verse 222 इत्यभिप्रेत्य भोक्तारम् आक्षिपत्य विशङ्कया कस्य कामायेति ततः शरीरानुज्जरो नहि. So Vidyaranya concludes his commentary on Kasya Kamaya, which is Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 4.4.12. The whole mantra is Atmanam Chet Vijaniya Tayamasmi iti Purushah Kimichan Kasya Kamaya Shariram Anusanjvaret. So by this Kasya Kamaya, well, definitely Upanishad negates a Bhokta. Previously Bhogya Prapancha was negated by Kimichan etc. And so that way Bhokta and Bhogyam both have been negated because both are Vyavarika Satyam. Negated means, well, we have understood them as a mithya. And now, so Bhokta and Bhogya both are negated, so Bhoga itself is negated. And therefore, basically, Jnani is now free from this Triputi, triad, Bhokta, Bhogya and Bhoga. And what is the consequence of this negation of this Triputi? Well, there will not be a Shoka because this triad is negated. Definitely this Bhokta also, he doesn't consider himself as a Bhokta, and that does not consider Bhogya Prapancha also different from himself etc. And therefore there is no sense of limitation, Dvaitam etc. is negated, and so definitely the sorrow. So by negation of this triad, where basically a sorrow is negated, and so that is being told as a Shariram Anusanjvaret, that part, there is negating this Shoka. Because the cause of the Bhoga, the cause of the suffering basically is gone. And so no Shoka, no sorrow. And the person who understands oneself as a Abhokta, Brahman, and therefore definitely, because Bhokta has a suffering basically, and therefore Bhokta is negated, Bhogya Prapancha is negated, and thereby Bhoga also is negated. He doesn't have a sorrow. Now if you go back, Vidyaranya has talked about 7 stages. And the first is a Ajnanam. Second is a Avaranam. Third is a Vikshepa. Fourth is Paroksha Jnanam. Fifth is Aparoksha Jnanam. Sixth is a Shoka Nivrutti. And seventh is a Trupti Prapti. Of this, basically, Ajnana, Avarana, Vikshepa, well, we have seen those stages. Ajnanam means, I don't know that I don't know Brahman. I don't know that I am Brahman, let's say that. So, even I don't know that I don't know Brahman. Yeah, that's better. Ajnana. I don't know that I don't know Brahman. Now I know that I don't know Brahman. That's the difference. Ajnanam means what? I don't know that I don't know Brahman. Like a person who is going out, right? He doesn't know that he doesn't know Brahman also. And then when he meets you and you talk about what are you doing, and he asks you, and he said, well, we study Shastra, etc., which says that Atma is Brahman. Oh, I don't know that. So this is called Avaranam. So person initially doesn't know that he doesn't know Brahman, Ajnanam. Then person knows that he doesn't know Brahman, Avaranam. And well, if he doesn't know Brahman, well, then he will take himself what? Being self-conscious and self-judgment will be there. So he takes himself to be other than Brahman. So this is called Vikshepa. I am a Jiva, I am individual, etc. That's a Vikshepa. Then he gains first what? Paroksha Jnana, that there is a Brahman, and which is Jagat Karanam, etc. And then, well, that Jagat Karanam Brahman happens to be myself. So initially it is a Paroksha Jnanam, Brahma Asti, etc. And then Aparoksha Jnanam, I am that Brahman. And well, then definitely I knowing oneself Brahman, which is free from this triad, which is Abhokta, Karta, etc. Well, he is free from Shoka also. So that's the sixth step. And seventh step is a Trupti Prapti. Well, he rejoices in oneself. He is fully, there is an inner fulfillment. Trupti means a fulfillment. There is an inner fulfillment in life that, well, because knowing oneself as a whole, limitless. So, Ajnana, Avarana, Vikshepa are stages of samsara. We discussed that. And this, the path, journey for the on the spiritual path, the journey starts, that is fourth and fifth stage. Paroksha Jnanam, gaining Paroksha Jnanam, and then Aparoksha Jnanam, etc. And sixth and seventh stage indicate the phalam of this Jnanam. So, freedom from sorrow, Shoka Nivrutti and Trupti Prapti. That's what this is why this chapter is called Trupti Deepa Prakarana. Anyway, and so this, and here in this verse, Shariram Anusanjvaret, in that mantra 4412, so that Trupti Prapti or a freedom from sorrow is indicated by Trupti Prapti we can arrive at. But Shariram Anusanjvaret indicates the sixth stage, that is Shoka Nivrutti. And that is commented upon from next verse, from 223. So, Tataha Sharira Jvaraha Nahi, Sharira Anujvaraha Nahi. So, well, once you understand, once you negate this triad, basically once you negate yourself as a Bhokta, there is no Bhogya Prapancha. Of course, it has been negated as a Mithya. But so basically, once this Triputi is negated, there is no cause for a grief. Suffering, pain, etc., tapaha, etc. is not there. Freedom from Sharir Anujvara, etc. is elaborated now. What is this Sharir Anujvara? How do you call it as a freedom from sorrow, etc.? That has been explained now from the next verse, verse 223. Sthulam Sukshmam Karanancha Shariram Trividam Smrutam Avashyam Trividostyeva Tatra Tatrochito Jvaraha. Verse 223 to 250. 28 verses in commentary for this. What is this Sharira Anujvara? And he is the person who gains this knowledge, I am Brahman, becomes free from Anujvara, etc. What is this? We don't understand that. So, his 28 verses, Vidyaranya comments on that. What is Jvara and what is Anujvara and etc. etc. What is this freedom from Anujvara? How knowledge helps that way, and etc. etc. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, right, in this mantra 4412, if you see the Bhashyam is in 3 lines on this. Shariram Anujvara, Sharira Anujvara. And here it is 28 verses. You can think. Anyway, so basically, what is the approach here? Let's first discuss. See, the Jvar Dhatu is there. Means to suffer. So, Jvaraha means suffering. And it's of 2 types. First is a direct suffering, and second is a indirect suffering caused by the identification with the Anatma. So, basically, Anatma has a direct suffering, naturally. Body has a direct suffering, mind has a direct suffering, senses have a direct suffering, which is called jvara. And indirect suffering is anujvara. Direct suffering will be always there. Actually, it actually is suffering, body, mind, sense complex have actual suffering. And anujvara means which is born of the identification with the body, mind, sense complex. So, body suffers, jvara. You say, I am suffering, anujvara. That's what it means. So, basically, so indirect suffering, well, is in form of a, by identification with an atma, basically. So in this list, well, we can, what is anatma? Whole world we can take it as anatma. Whole family is anatma. But Upanishad says the closest anatma is what? Sharira. Shariratrayam. That's how it has been mentioned. Sharira anujvara. So basically, taking, suffering born of the identification with the body, mind, sense complex, which actually suffers. Actual suffering by atma, no, by body, mind, sense complex, called jvara. But I say I am suffering by identifying with this body, mind, sense complex. That's called anujvara. That you can become free. That's what it means. And therefore, when you say I am suffering, definitely there is a sorrow. Anyway, so the result of Vedanta is, well, to drop all three types of anujvara. World can, well, definitely, world, in general, this world, identifying with the world, well, you take, yourself with anujvara. Like from the world, some suffering is born. And family, second anatma. By family, identifying with the family, you will have anujvara. And third is, well, identifying with the shariratrayam, you will have a anujvara. And therefore, definitely, this is identifying with the body, identifying with the world, will you have a anujvara? Well, that is basically grossest, And identifying with the family, you will have anujvara. So, identifying with the family, anujvara means what? Family suffers, you say, I am suffering. That's what it means. Because identification with the family, naturally. Like a son and a daughter or a wife, etc., undergoing some suffering. Some fever, this, that, whatever. Any kind of suffering. Then you also feel that you are suffering. Right? That is due to identification. And that is little, subtle than compared to anujvara born of the world. That's grosser. And anujvara born of, suffering born of identifying with the body, mind, sense complex is the subtlest and toughest. Anyway, but here Upanishad says, Shariram anusanjvaret kimichna, etc. Means Upanishad is negating, or Upanishad is talking about the freedom from Shariratraya Abhimanajanya Anujvara. Sharira definitely has a jvara. We are going to see. That cannot be avoided. That will be there. But then you say, I am suffering, and that you are saying because of the identification with the body. That's called anujvara. So indirect suffering, I go through because of body, mind, sense complex. And so, that way you feel the Atma has a anujvara. Never jvara. Atma, I never have a jvara. I never suffer, but I identify with the body, mind, sense complex and, well, have a anujvara. So whatever pain, well, I claim for myself is all anujvara. I can never have a jvara. Removal of anujvara leads to what? Well, it's freedom from sorrow. When you understand Atma is, which does not have any kind of a suffering, well, you have a freedom from sorrow, which leads to ultimately fulfillment of the life. Because one wants to have this, I should not have in my life any kind of suffering. That's my goal. And well, you understand, you have that clarity that I never suffer any kind of suffering. Not emotional suffering, not physical suffering. We are going to discuss, of course, this in 28 verses. I'm just giving you a little clarity. What is this trupti? Because you wanted this. I don't want any kind of suffering, Swamiji. Physical, at every level, emotional level and intellectual level, in terms of, lacking certain knowledge and etc., lacking certain skills, you feel you suffer. So, so when you understand this Atma like this, then definitely you will not say that I am a sufferer. Well, then that's what the goal was. You wanted a freedom from suffering, totally, and you understood Atma is like this. So there is a trupti that we are going to talk about later. So anyway, and so this Anujvara is born of what? Abhimana. Abhimana means what? Abhimana means, say, connected to this body mind sense complex. You take, you superimpose basically, due to Atma Jnanam, you take the body mind sense complex as Atma, or you superimpose body mind sense complex upon yourself, either way you say. And therefore that is always born of what? Non-discrimination between what is Atma and what is Anatma. So, and well, so then you say I am suffering, etc. That is a Anujvara. Now what is the development of topic is, first he talks about a Sharira Jvara. What is Jvara? He is going to tell clearly. What is this pain or suffering at the level of all the three bodies? And then then there will be a discussion of Anujvara. So first is Sharira Jvara Varnanam, second is Sharir Anujvara Varnanam, and third is Anujvara Nivrutti. These are the three topics going to be discussed in 28 verses. So what is this suffering at the level of three bodies? What is the suffering born of this identification with the suffering of the three bodies? Means identification with the three bodies. You will have a Anujvara also. What are the three Anujvaras? Well, and how will you get rid of this Anujvara? So these three topics will be discussed now. And Shariram word is used in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Basically Anatma only, right? Atma, Anatma, Viveka. So it is ultimately identifying with the Anatma, or taking Anatma as Atma. Ultimately that's a non-discrimination. But Upanishad mentions Sharira only. So therefore we give up family and other Anatma, Prapancha, world, etc. So Shariram word is used in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Shariram Anuj Sanjvaret. And therefore we are taking these three Shariras only out of a whole entire bunch of Anatma. So three things. Sthula Sharira Jvaraha, and Sthula Sharira Anujvaraha, Sthula Sharira Anujvara Nivrutti. Right? Sukshma Sharira Jvaraha, Sukshma Sharira Anujvaraha, Sukshma Sharira Anujvara Nivrutti. Third, Karana Sharira Jvaraha, Karana Sharira Anujvaraha, Karana Sharira Anujvara Nivrutti. Clear? So these 9 topics are there. Anyway, so Shariram Trividham Smrutam, bodies are said to be threefold. Now he is introducing. What is this Jvara or pain at the level of three bodies? What are the pain at these three levels? What is the pain of the gross body? What is the pain of the subtle body? What is the pain of the causal body? So is there a pain of causal body? Yeah, it is there. He is going to narrate. So anyway, so Shariram Trividham Smrutam, bodies are said to be threefold. Sthula Sukshma Karanancha, Sthula Sukshma and Karana. And in second line he says, in this verse 223, that each Sharira has got intrinsic Jvara of its own, which is choiceless and can't be eliminated also. Only you can eliminate the suffering by disidentifying with the body. You cannot make the body free from pain, suffering. You can definitely still make yourself free from the pain by disidentifying with the body and thereby with the pain of the body. Clear? Is it clear? So Jvara and Anujvara. Please be clear about it. These words I mean, we are not so familiar. Generally, word jvara is used only for the fever, etc. But that is a very in a common parlance. Here, jvara means to suffer. Of course, this fever also gives a suffering, therefore it is okay. But anyway, so jvara free, pain free, any body is impossible. But jvara free, anujvara free, shariri, or jvara free shariri, let us say this is better. Jvara free shariri is possible. What is shariri? Who obtains in this body is basically free from pain. But Swamiji, who obtains in the body could be Chidabhasa. And the Chidabhasa Jiva has a suffering. No. Hey, what are you talking? No, I am talking something in senses I am talking. He is going to say Chidabhasa itself is free from any pain. Imagine. This is something. Vidyaranya is Vidyaranya. So anyway, so neither Chidabhasa nor Chit. There is no question of Chit at all, but anyway, he will see that. So jvara free shariri. Sharire bhavaha shariri. Dehe bhavaha dehi. What is obtained is, well, you say manifest consciousness, reflected consciousness. That definitely suffers. No. So jvara free sharira is not possible. Jvara free shariri is possible only by knowledge. Knowledge. Okay. And so tatra. So in each sharira, tatra means in each sharira, at three bodies, right? He already talked about sthula sukshma karana. So tatra. In each of the sharira, well, uchitaha trividaha jvaraha. There is threefold jvaraha. Uchitaha means it is intrinsically there. It is generically there. It is intrinsic pain is already, it will be there. Avashyam asti eva, it will be certainly there. So there is no perfect shariram free from pain, either gross, either subtle or causal body. Let's start with now sthula sharira jvara. What are the pains in gross body? If you ask so, we will tell you in verse 224. So, Vatapit Vatapitta Shleshmajanya Vyadaya Kotishasthanau Durganditva Kurupatva Dahabhangadayasthatha. So, various jvaras of the Sthula Sharira has been talked about. Tanu, Sthula Sharira. Tanau, in physical body, Kotishaha, crores. Broadly classified crores, then you cannot narrate. One book will not be sufficient. Okay. So we broadly classify the pains in a gross body by taking a Ayurveda system in threefold way. Vata Pitta Shleshma Janya. So Janya, born of Vatam, Pittam and Shleshma. So naturally, because the body is made up of 5 gross elements, so when there is a balance between the 5 elements, and then definitely, I mean, whatever the proportion of water should be there, that much water is there, not less, not more. Whatever the proportion of the vayu, etc., I mean, air, etc., should be there, naturally, oxygen, etc., well, that should be there. And whatever proportion of the fire, etc., should be there, that much only is there, then the health of the body is there. When all the 5 elements are in balance. Balance does not mean equal proportion, please understand. But whatever, the body should have 70% water, and it should have this much of fire, or this much temperature, etc., or this much air should be there, this many liters of air should be there, etc. Well, that much is there, whatever is designed for, well, that is there, then you will have a health. But when there is an imbalance, right, then definitely this disease, the pain is born. So born of a, suppose more air, etc. Vayu Tattvam is more. then definitely you have a the all disease is born of Vayu. They say this is this Ayurveda, they say basically this Vayu Tattvam, when it increases, it generates say diseases. There are some there are some 50 60 diseases, and especially when the age increases, this Vayu Tattvam becomes more and more, and therefore you will have a joint pains and other things, and bloating and whatnot, all this kind of, and even it is affecting even a subtle body also. So mind also will have a lot of chanchalyam, etc. Anyway, because Vayu is chanchalam. Anyway, what I am saying is ultimately, and they say even the when the fire is, I mean the Pitta-janyam, Pittam basically, not Pitta-janyam, Agni-janyam. When the fire is more, you will have a Pittam. When Vayu is more, you will have a Vayu, etc. And Vatam, Vata Rogam. And when you have a more water in the body, then you have a Shleshma, Kapha. So basically, every body is definitely either one of them will be always there. They say initially in the initial age of the human being, they say the the disease is born of a excess water. I mean kapha etc. are more. Then when he reaches to the young age, and then there will be a more agni tattvam, and then more later age, well, you will have a more vayu tattvam. So vata rogas will be more in the older age, and that's how we will. That seems very very much true. That's how all this body pain and joint pain etc. in old age. Anyway, so and in a young age, well, you will have a more pittam etc. acidity and other things. And initial age, well, it is kafam, kafajanya. So this kind of things are there. So vata pitta shleshma janya vyadaya, and there are many actually. It's not one or two. Vata roga will be several. They are maximum in fact. Anyway, and so and in addition to this, well, there are there any things? Yeah. Durganditva kurupatva daha bhangadaya. These are other diseases. So durganditvam, foul smell caused by something. Kurupatvam, varieties of the deformities are there. Daha, burns, right? Inflammation caused by burns. Foul smell could be due to some kind of a some disorder in the body. We know this all. So bhangaha, fracture. So adaya, you can add whatever you know. I mean, the doctors can tell so many things in this. So tatha is in form of a conjunction. Means you should add durganditva, well, kurupatva. So durganditvam, kurupatvam, dahaha, bhangaha. In that for conjunction, you can use cha, but chakara has not been given. So you should use tatha. Tatha is for the conjunction. These are all what? These are the jvaras. These are the jvaras of the body. 225. He is going to talk about jvaras of the subtle body. Kama krodha adaya shanti dantyadhyah linga dehagaha jvaradvayepi badhante praptya naram kramat. Linga deha. Lingadeha gaha. Lingadehe gacchati, lingadehe prapnoti. Iti lingadehe. Prapnuvanti, let us say. Many diseases. So lingadehe prapnuvanti, iti lingadeha gaha vyadayaha. So, well, the jvaras or the vyadis or diseases associated with the sukshma sharira, especially mind. So he gives, because we have to, we can't narrate each and everything, right? So he gives a broad classification. One is a kama krodhadaya. That's naturally associated with the mind. These diseases, in general, we can call asuri sampatti, kama, krodha, etc. Lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. And second is what? Shanti dantyadhyaha, quietude of mind. That's a disease. quietude of sense organs. So Shanti, quietude of mind. Danti, quietude of sense organ. Dvaye api jvaraha. Both types of jvaras. What are you talking? This Shanti, quietude of a mind is a jvara? Is a disease? What is this? Naram kramat badhante. So, kramat respectively. This basically kama, krodha, daya, etc. afflict this person, and this shanti, danti, shamaha, damaha, etc. also binds the person. What? So, praptya, apraptya. So, first group definitely affect the person by its presence. So, kama, krodha, daya by prapti. Praptya by prapti. Third case. So, by its presence, well, in the lingadeha, in the mind, it affects the person. And apraptya, shantya, shantidantyadhyaha. So basically, the other by affects the person by its absence, right? And therefore, this is naram kramat badhanti. Respectively, they afflict the person by prapti and aprapti. Okay, this is so simple. Anyway, then what is a jvara of a karana sharira? That is amazing. So in 226 he narrates the jvara of a karana sharira. Swam param chana na vetti atma vinashtaiva. Swam param chana vetti atma vinashtaiva karane. Chalo, this is I think because swam param cha na vetyatma vinashta iva karane agami dukkha bijancha itte tadindrena darshitam. There also I think we will have to agami dukkha bijam cheti etadindrena darshitam. That's better. Anyway, so 226 says a jvara narrates a jvara of a karana sharira. And Vidyaranya says, well, this jvara is talked about, it is not easily available, but Upanishad talks about. Chandogya Upanishad talks about the jvara of Karana Sharira. Prajapati, when talked to Indra, while in the 8th chapter, this Prajapati Vidya, and Indra and Virochana went to Prajapati for gaining knowledge of the self, because Prajapati told something which is very lucrative. Prajapati told one who knows this Brahman gains all the sense pleasures at once. So, these people were not satisfied with whatever they were having. Indra was having every day so nice food and dance and music, but kramat, one by one. Puja Swami calls it as one by one. So, when you are eating a kachori, what is that? Samosa. So when you eat a samosa, then you can't eat that, payasam. When you eat payasam, you have to drop that kachori. So samosa. So you eat one by one. Same way when you enjoy the music, then you can't enjoy something else. So this is how, but this Brahma Vidya, once you gain this Brahma Vidya, then definitely you can enjoy everything at once. Sir, this has been even told in Taittiriya also. You know very well. Sarvan ashnute, ashnute sarvan kaman, right? So, Brahmavid apnoti param satyam jnanam anantam brahma yoveda nihitam guhayam parame vyoman. And then, well, it says that sarvan kaman ashnute. This basically, Vidwan gains all the kamas, desirable objects at once, in form of everything he is. And therefore, anyway, it's not a discussion. But basically, so Indra and Virochana both were interested. They went, and then Virochana just went, because understood the way narrated by Prajapati, talked that Vishwa is Atma, and then and this Tejasa is Atma, and Prajna is Atma. Vishwa is Atma means this, Atma associated with this gross body. Oh, that is Atma? Yeah, that's Atma. Virochana was very happy. That's what I was taking. My body itself is Atma. Anyway. But then Indra basically was said, I am not satisfied with that. And then he inquired. And so, through this avasthat prakriya, actually, he came to know Brahman. And prajna, of course, is associated with the karana sharira. And Indra talked about these problems of a karana sharira. And what is that? So this jvara of a karana sharira. Samcha parancha na veti atma. With karana sharira, one does not know oneself, nor anyone else also. So, I mean, he doesn't know himself, he doesn't know others also. Samcha parancha na veti. Vid dhatu is there, veti is a verb. Tamo bhibhuta, why? Shrouded by ignorance. That's what even in Mandukya Karika, in Agama Purana, this has been discussed. Natmanam na paramshaiva na satyam napi chanrutam prajna kinchana samvetti turyam tat sarvadruk sada. Natmanam na paramshaiva na satyam napi nanrutam prajna kinchana navetti. This prajna, one who is the consciousness identified with the Atma, identified with the Karana Sharira, doesn't know oneself, doesn't know anything else. And so even Jnani also, during Sushupti, he doesn't know that I am Brahman. So Atma can't claim, well, because he can't do it. I mean, but you said in Sushupti, the Atma is definitely there, then he should claim. Atma can't claim anything. To claim, well, definitely you require mind, etc. So that's resolved in the deep sleep state. So when Jnani sleeps, his knowledge also is in a potential form. When he gets up, of course he claims. He can claim. He need not claim. But he can claim. So definitely Ajnanam or Tamo Guna or Avaranam or Agrahanam is Jvara. Agrahanam word is used by Gaudapada ji in a Mandukya Karika. So Sushupti, etc. Is considered as Agrahanam, and Sapnavastha and Jagratavastha is considered as a Anyatha Grahanam. Anyway, Vinashtaha Eva. So while identifying with this Karana Sharira in deep sleep state, etc. Well, Vinashtaha Eva, as though he is destroyed, as though he is absent. So I mean, there is as though a void in the deep sleep state. That's how Buddhists concluded also, that Atma is Shunya. Vidyaranya says, Eva, Vinashtaha Eva, as though is destroyed, because it's not available. The medium through which the consciousness is available becomes a Vyavhar Yogyam. You can know, etc. Well, that is, the medium is absent. Not that consciousness is absent. When the medium is absent, consciousness is not available for a Vyavhara. But it doesn't mean consciousness has gone, right? If bulb, suppose, is gone, it's not that electricity has gone. Electricity which manifests through the bulb, that is gone. So therefore, electricity is absent, we can't say. Not available for Vyavhara, we can say. That is there. Anyway, so, Vinashtaha Iva Karane, means in Karana Sharira, as though, well, as through, in a Karana Sharira, as though he is absent. So, Eva, but as though absent. And also, Agami Dukkha Bijam. So, these are the Jvara. He doesn't know himself, he doesn't know anything else, he doesn't know what is Satyam, what is Anutam. And also, Agami Dukkha Bijam, in Karana Sharira, future experiences are hiding, unfructified, right? Prarabdha. And so, it has in Karana Sharira, future pleasure, pains, everything are there in a Sanchita Karma, right? In Karana Sharira. So, and of how many janmas? Infinite number of janmas. So, that's how they say our Karana Sharira is a blueprint actually for Bhagavan to, create varieties of situations in life. So, Agami Dukkha Bijam, it's a Bija Rupena, it's in the form of a seed that is there. So, Ajnanam and Dukkha Bijam are Jvara. Ajnanam is definitely a Jvara. Because you can't claim that even you are Brahman. You can't claim anything. Totally under the blanket of ignorance. Karana Sharira. And also in that Karana Sharira, these all potential pains are there, which are going to manifest in the life. And therefore, iti etad, well, these are the problems or jvara of a Karana Sharira. Who has told this? Indrena Darshitam. This has been indicated by Indra in a Chandogya Upanishad, Prajapati Vidya 8.11.1. Three jvaras of three sharira have been discussed, narrated here. 224, 5 and 6. Now, in 227, well, Vidyaranya says something. Ete jvara sharireshu trishu svabhavika mataha viyoge tu jvaraistani shariranyeva nasate. Vidyaranya says this jvara is not a incidental problem of three shariras. They are intrinsic to these three bodies. Anytime, well, at all the time it is there. Whatever the jvaras we have discussed, whatever the sufferings or pains are there in this diseases are there, well, in all the three shariras, they will be there all the time. And that is how you see, even for the gross body, when you go for a checkup, you feel that this is it's a general checkup, Every 6 months I should go for a checkup. I don't feel that I have any problem. But let me go for checkup. Whenever you go for checkup, some deficiency will be always there. You will find some deficiency. Some iron deficiency, calcium deficiency, that deficiency, this deficiency. Something will be there. That shows gross bodies always have a jvara. So, therefore, and immediately after report, there will be anujvara. Oh, he said, he's looking at the report, he says, oh, I have B12 less deficiency. This is anujvara. This is a suffering. Here you are free from B12 and you are free from K12 and whatever it is. You are free from all. But no. So definitely, jvara is all the time there in any body. That's what he is discussing here. And consequently, because of identification, you will have a anujvara also. Ete jvaraha trishu sharireshu swabhavikaha mataha. In all the three bodies, these jvaras will be swabhavikaha, intrinsic. They are definitely there. No perfect health for all the three bodies. They go under only one condition. Which condition I have already told you. No question of removing a jvara from any of the three bodies, whatever that have been discussed. And they will be always there. But only by disidentifying with this, you will become free from the jvara. There is no other way. Jvaraihi viyoge satitu. So, sharirani eva nasate. Well, so jvaraihi viyoge. Thinking that, well, this body, particular body, gross, subtle, etc., is free from the jvara. Well, if you think like that, there will not be a body at all. Sharirani eva nasate. And therefore, body itself will not remain. Jvara rahita shariram does not exist, I mean. So, asate, na asate, this as dhatu is in second conjugation. And as means to remain, to sit. From that we have got word also asanam. And so the body will not remain. Body will not be free from. Body will not exist free from the jvara. So they are intrinsic. So asate, aste, asate, asate. It's a bahuvachanam. Sharirani na asate. Shariram aste. And sharire asate. Sharirani asate. So, na asate. They won't exist. They won't remain. Without jvaraihi viyoge. Without the, in absence of jvara. So, means they are all the time associated. And he gives example for that now in the next verse. Tantor viyujjenna pataha valebhyah kambalo yatha mrudo gatastatha dehaha jvarebhyopiti drishyata. So 3 examples are there. Pataha tantoho naviyujyate. From the cloth, This tantu, the thread cannot be separated. Kambalaha valebhyah na vyujyate. Well, this woolen blanket can't be separated from wool, the hair of the sheep. So woolen blanket means definitely wool will be there. And the third, gataha mrudaha na vyujyate. So vyujyate, that's better, not vyujyate. Vyujyate. Gataha mrudaha na vyujyate. Pot cannot be separated from the clay. Yeah. So same way, body and jvara cannot be totally separated. So dehaha jvarebhyaha api iti drisyatam. Jvarebhyaha api na vyujyeta iti drisyatam. So this is from these three examples we can understand. Well, the jvara also cannot be, the body cannot be free from jvara. Means what? You cannot totally cure any jvara. There are so many pertaining to the gross body, pertaining to the subtle body, pertaining to the causal body. My God, so many karmas which can give the pain. And ignorance is, of course, there all the time. Whatever you do in a waking state to remove the ignorance, you can remove partially, right? And so ignorance also will be always there. Then that is everyone's experience also. And karmas also are infinite, and all which can give rise to a pain, etc., and or pleasure, whatever. But they are infinite in the sanchita. And therefore, these jvaras pertaining to any body will be always there. And they cannot be totally cured also. So, but you can definitely do something with the anujvara. You can drop this claim that I have a jvara. That's it. You can drop this claim that I have a jvara. Self-judgment, you can correct it. So Vedanta's aim is to separate that thought mode that I am having a jvara, I am a suffering, etc. Born of any this one. I am ignorant also is a suffering, right? Or well, I am angry or this, etc. Or well, I am having a cough, whatever. Pertaining to any body. You can definitely, because not knowing yourself only, you have, due to adhyasa, well, you have taken yourself to be the body medicines complex, and therefore, body, etc., let them have a jvara, they will be always there, but you can make yourself free. That's how in a Brihadaranyaka Upanishad they have said, Shariram anusanjvaret. Anujvara, you can become free from born of Sharira. So that Abhimana Tyaga, identification can be given up. There is no other remedy other than giving up the identification. Verse 229. Chidabhase swatah kopi jvaro nasti yataschitah prakashaikasvabhavatvam eva drishtam na chetarat. After talking about this threefold jvara, he comes to anujvara. While this consciousness has no form of a jvara at any time, being distinct from the three bodies. And therefore, removal of a jvara from the consciousness is not at all required, because it is by nature itself free from the jvara. And once you use word chaitanyam, then we have to again little clarify. What? Whether it is chaitanyam, you said chaitanyam is free from jvara, means adhara chaitanyam is free from jvara, or abhasa chaitanyam is free from jvara, because we have used these terms. So, abhasa chaitanyam is chidabhasa, and adhara chaitanyam is chit consciousness. So, if we ask this question, well, Vidyaranya says even this chidabhasa or this reflected consciousness, pratibimba chaitanyam also doesn't have a jvara. Chaitanya, of course, is the nature of consciousness, but chidabhasa also is free from jvara. So, just as a dirt or on the mirror or or water cannot affect the reflected sun, well, what to talk of the original sun? Sun appears to be dull, but that is, basically, but Chidabhasa has not become a dull. Chidabhasa appears dull because the medium is basically having a dirt or etc. So Chidabhasa also does not have a jvara of its own. Yeah, it's a reflection of sun, will be like sun only, but it appears dull because of the medium is dull. So, medium is this sukshma sharira, subtle body, etc. So if you really scrutinize, you will find this jiva also, the chidabhasa, ahankara also is basically free from this jvara. Kopi jvara swatah nasti. Well, kopi. So, because of, so because of this proximity in the reflecting medium, jvara seems to be there. It's a transferred jvara. Could you follow? So medium mind has a certain issues that will be there. We have seen also this all the jara pertaining to the sukshma sharira will be there. But since the consciousness manifests there, or let's say reflected consciousness, so definitely appear like that. So it's a transferred jvara to the chidabhasa from the mind, from the medium. So jvara nasti, and but there is no jvara even for the chidabhasa. Yataha. Why? Why? What is the reason for that? Prakashaika swabhavatvam. Well, prakashaika swabhavatvam. Because it's just by nature of consciousness, illumining consciousness, self-illumining consciousness. And it cannot have a this vikaras also. Eva drashtam, this is our experience with respect to reflection outside also, that we can definitely say that it doesn't belong to. The reflection of sun is also free from actually any kind of a dirt or dullness. Dullness is in medium. Dirt is in medium, not in the reflection. Reflection appears due to transfer of that dullness from the medium to the reflection by the person. So it's a person's misunderstanding, not that the really reflection has become dull. So nacha itarat. So then nacha itarat means if reflection itself, chidabhasa itself is free from the pain, jvara, nacha itarat means what to talk of this, jvara of a consciousness. So nacha itarat, it does not have intrinsic jvara of its own. And so, well, if you say, no, I will not agree. Chidabhasa has definitely jara. Chidabhasa is a suffering. Jiva is a suffering. If you say, well, don't worry. It's Chidabhasa. You are not Chidabhasa. You are not Jiva. You are not Ahankara. You are not reflected consciousness. You are Sun. Okay? And therefore you are free from jara. Okay. If you are not happy with what we say, so then, no, but the Chidabhasa is jara, and therefore I am suffering. Oh, you are not Chidabhasa. Yeah. Chidabhasa you manifest in the mind, of course, and as a ahankara, as a chidabhasa, etc. But you are basically chit, consciousness, and therefore free from jvara. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.